testers, and we just moved in.
Fuck, 13, yeah. We're ready to go. Let's fucking go.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to MRC Live. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and if you're not already, please feel free to follow our league on Instagram, Twitter, and of course, right here on Twitch. Also, if you happen to miss us live, you could always catch up on the action over at our YouTube channel, title under the same name as a... Oops. As an MRC first for the season, our Zor Weekly Hot Lap series, breaking down this week's upcoming race course turn by turn with easy-to-understand commentaries. Lastly, if you're interested in joining the league, head on over to our website at mrcesports.com to apply to drive. As I'm lagging a little bit behind here, our drivers are taking to the track, first off being MRC Sensational, followed by, looks like MRC Cheesy Train. Get some tire information, telemetry, and timings out for you. As Sensational leads us around this circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya. It is a 16-turn Grade 1 track. It's 2.89 miles. The race lap record is a 118.4 held by Daniel Ricciardo. That went down in 2018. As we see Sensational here working his way through the very fast right-hander of turn 9, I believe, onto the back straight, DRS zone 2 here. Big braking zone here, the tightest and slowest hairpin of the track, turn number 11. Oops, sorry about that. As most of our field now pulls out onto the track on hard tires, Sensational will be starting his first hot lap, ERS mode 4, DRS open there. Yellow flag in sector 3 as somebody's slowing down for a little bit of space on track. Working our way through Renault turn now as Bloody Ramrod was disqualified. I did not catch why. Now working our way through Repsol, very tricky right-hander, usually fourth gear, he's taking a third there. Might be mistaken, as it looks like he's still warming up his tires just a bit. So we'll take a look at Muffin Man, just half of his battery remaining, a little bit of a lockup into Seat. Now working our way towards the Worth Bend, I believe designed by Michael Schumacher. There's a lot of oversteer on exit there from Muffin Man, as that's going to blow his hot lap rather. Take a look at Capita Hood on his first hot lap of the day, ERS mode 5 as well, working his way through turn 5. As Muffin Man so far sets the fastest lap of the day with a 1:27.3. Take a look at Formula Rager. He's working his way towards Worth, rather. Saxman turns in a 1:21.5. There's our first fast time of the day. Saxman, new driver to our Tier 1 series here, driving for Williams. Formula Rager now working his way through turn 10 and 11. Not looking too fast. We'll take a look at Sosa. Working his way through the last turn now. 16, little bit too eager there on exit as he hooked it going towards the pits. Let's make sure he does well to avoid any contact here, pulling back out onto track. As Formula Rager will take provisional pole with a 1:21.15. Sosa lets everybody by without incident. That is the Mercedes of Muffin Man, I believe, going past Sosa there, putting in the fastest lap of the race, first sub 120 we've seen with a 1:19.788. I'm sorry, I just need to check something really quick. Okay, I'm mistaken, right. Danny Ricks at a 1:18.4. Alright, just making sure. I thought they were way under that. Sosa working his way back around to try to set up another hot lap. Cheesy Train is on his first hot lap of the day, running into a little bit of traffic in the form of the Red Bull of Riced Outs. Does very well to avoid contact there going into turn 12, diving to the inside of Riced Outs as Cheesy Train negotiates the last few turns of Sector 3 in his Renault. See what kind of time he could scrape out of that lap. Probably a little bit frustrated as he crosses the line with a 1:20.79. Right behind his teammate Capita Hood, puts him in provisional third. Be very cool to see Renault lock out a grid for the start of the Spanish GP, as we have a Sector 1 yellow. Not sure what's going on there. Also a bit of an alarm coming from somebody's pit box. So we're on board now with the Alfa Romeo of MRC OOT as we see the Ferrari of ARL Brackish, rather, out of shape. OOT possibly was a little distracted there by Brackish playing in the sands there off of turn 4 as he looped it as well. Take a look at Brackish's car here. Doesn't look like he has any damage that I can see. Both end plates are still attached. And we will go on board with... Let's take a look at MRC Kirk, see how he's getting around the other Ferrari teammate. He's working his way around turn 9, I believe, onto the back straight. DR Zone 2 engages it there. Flies towards the outside before getting heavy on the brakes at the 100-meter board. Down to second gear for that hairpin. As we now work our way through the very technical Sector 3. As Kirk dives to the pits, I thought he was going to be completing a hot lap there. As Double OT unfortunately has left the session. If I don't see him right back, I'll send him a quick invite. As we're on board now with the Williams of B Dunk on his first hot lap of the day. Working his way through the Worth curve now. I'm sorry, rather, that's turn 12. Now through 14, 15, and 16 here. Wide open throttle onto the front straightaway. B-Dunk crosses the line in provisional pole with a 119.4 on hard tires. Very good lap from B-Dunk. As Double OT thankfully is back in the session. It looks like I missed the retirement of Rice Outs as well in my stammering about, as we're now on board the Toro Rosso of DOR Reimer, formerly Mr. Reimer. And guess he's going for another lap to warm up those tires here, as it doesn't look like he's going for it too much. They're really pushing the limits on exit there. So check out the McLaren of Delirious, working his way through Elf now. Turns 1 and 2. Now approaching Renault, turn 3. Delirious doing well to hit all of his marks here so far through Sector 1, now onto Sector 2. And through the Worth Bend without issue, one of the trickiest sections of track here in Barcelona. Now onto the back straight again, braking just after the 100-meter board, down to first gear to get the front end turned in as much as he can. And charging back all the way up to fourth gear. For teasing the throttle there, up to third gear. Now through turn 14 here, doesn't push the curbs as much as he can, a little bit there. And now back onto the front straight. First DRS zone as Delirious crosses the line with a 120.7, puts him in P7 for now, just behind Fun Rafa Sosa. Oops. As my controller batteries have died, so bear with me for a moment as we continue to ride out and board the cooling down McLaren of Delirious. Alright, and we're now on board back with Formula Rager. Looks like he's working his way around turn 5 there on another hot lap, ERS 5, as Delirious gets out of his way. And just 5 minutes remaining here in qualifying. Still 4 drivers rather, still to put in a time. Most notably all of Alfa Romeo. It's Formula Rager now working his way through Sector 3. And Formula Rager crosses the line in P5 with 119.8. Great lap from him. Take a quick look at Duar Reimer, who's moved into P2. Looks like he's on his in-lap, going to be returning to the pits. And see what Sensational is doing. He's working his way through Elf right now. Looks like he's on another hot lap. Opted for some medium tires this time as he pilots his Haas around turn 3. Finishes sector 1 there, just 0.2 off the pace. So far looking well for a possibly front row start on this lap, as he continues to charge towards the Worth curve down to 4th gear. A little bit of left-right action there as we go uphill towards turn 9 now, approaching DRS zone 2 as he engages it there. All the way up to 250 kilometers an hour before all the way down to 1st gear, 2nd gear. As he's backed out of it looks like. Opted for ERS mode 0, gonna charge up battery and try once more, I think. Take a quick look at Kirk. He's also negotiating his way through the Worth bend right now. And now charging around turn 9, onto the back straight. A little bit of wide there. Ooh, a little bit of lag there, excuse me. As he's finishing up sector 2 now, into sector 3. Don't know why I didn't get a time there. Kirk now selecting ERS mode 1 for this very technical 14 through 16 here. Then back up to 5 onto the front straight, engages DRS, and across the line with a 119.7 puts MRC Kirk in a very respectable P4 for the start of this race. Just over 2.5 minutes remaining. We'll go on board with the Toro Rosso of Saxpan 24. Crosses the line, unfortunately does not improve upon his previous time. Although, right now, this is his hot lap coming up right now. As he's working away, coming out of turn 3 now, ending sector 1. .900ths up there, a lot of oversteer on entry to turn 4. Unfortunately, loses it in the grass. Won't be able to do much to recover that lap as, I think that was Brackish working his way around him. As Formula Rager's retired from the session. ARL Brackish is going to cross the line with a 129. Unfortunately, 8 seconds off the pace, but looks like he's got another flyer coming up here if he can manage his battery to the end of this lap, as Shadow Wolf does well to get out of his way. Just over a minute out left in qualifying, as most of our field is now coming back onto the track as the temperatures continue to climb here in Barcelona. Brackish doing everything he can to get into points contention for the start of this Grand Prix. Engaging DRS, working down the back straight, heavy on the brakes. A little bit of a lockup sends him wide. Unfortunately, don't think this lap is going to be the one to do it. We'll go on board with Double OT now, working his way through turn 5. Now throws it in towards the apex of 11. Takes a bit of a conservative line through 13, a little bit too early on the power, though. Lots of oversteer on exit as qualifying time has elapsed here. We'll see what kind of time Double OT posts as he now works his way across the line with a 120.3, puts him into P9 just within the points. Go on board now with his teammate Borat. Yeah, just ahead of Shadow Wolf, still yet to set a time as well. Borat now looking to turn 12 where his teammate just had so much trouble. Borat handles it much better. Very aggressive line through turn 14 there, looking very tidy. As Cheesy Train turns in a new fastest lap of the race with a 119.2, puts him into pole for the start of this race, but Borat has a 118.1, as Borat is your new pole sitter for the start of this Spanish Grand Prix, unless Shadow Wolf can do something about it. Already at a 114, approaching the last turn. Unfortunately, I don't think Shadow Wolf is going to have what it takes. He will cross the line in P11, I believe. P12, rather. As we will take one more look at the driver standings. We have Borat starting P1 for this race, B-Dunk P2, Capital Hood P3, followed by Cheesy Train, Rhymer, and Saxman. Back to the stream here as Kirk, Muffin Man, Formula Rager, and Sensational will round out your top 10. A little bit more time than usual separating our Tier 1 field here for our North American Xbox division, as the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya can be very demanding in terms of setup. It's why the F1 comes here to test at the in the preseason, is because it's such a difficult combination of aerodynamically varying corners. From your sweepers of Sector 1 to your uphill chicanes in Sector 2, and then very tight hairpin in Sector 3. Track really does have a lot to offer, as we're just 15 seconds from our formation lap. We will take one more look at the constructor standings, which I threw up there a little prematurely, as I believe Renault was in the lead. Yes, followed by Williams, Alfa Romeo, and Red Bull. Renault so far with a 34-point lead. Very commanding there. As Borat will lead our field around these 16 turns one last time before we go lights out in Spain. Take a look at everybody's starting compounds there. Most of our field selecting the Pirelli mediums. As Borat leads a very well-paced formation lap around Circuit de Catalunya. We'll just work our way through the fields here. Keep your eyes on Bloody Ramrod starting in the back. Got a early disqualification from qualifying session. I didn't, unfortunately, Didn't catch why. But he's going to be looking to make moves off the start as Borat takes his starting position under the Fly Emirates board. Get ready to go lights out here in just a few moments. So far, I think every race so far this season has been dry for Tier 1. As all our drivers are loaded in, try to find a good angle for you. It is with MRC Cheesy Train. Lights are on, eyes up, and the drivers are away. No issues so far. Everybody has their car in gear as B-Dunk makes an early move for the lead. Borat falls to P2. Reimer working his way to the inside of the Renaults. Fortunately, Cheesy Train holding his position as we see Kirk forced very wide there. Looks like the Mercedes of Muffin Man got possibly hit from the rear coming out of turn 4 there. Got very sideways as our midfield is really battling back and forth now as B-Dunk continues to hold the lead. Sensational under a lot of pressure from Formula Rager for P7 right now. P8 rather. As Saxman also defending against MRC Kirk. Working our way now through turn 14. So far been a pretty clean lap 1 except for Muffin Man. Bloody Ramrod already up 2 positions. As B-Dunk leads the first lap. It's going to be under a little bit of pressure from Borat, not much as we still don't have DRS yet. As I was trying to get a steady cam for you guys there. Saxman's looking to the inside of his teammate. Going through Elf as Muffin Man picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in pit lane. As... not sure why that didn't just work. Sensational really putting the pressure on Kirk now, practically pushing him around turn 4, looking the inside towards the Worth bend, can't make it happen yet. Kirk making the rear end of that Ferrari very wide. Sensational can't do anything to get him around him yet, as a little bit of traffic forming up behind him in the form of Formula Rager. There's a tongue twister for you. Both these drivers looking to the inside of Kirk, going almost 3 abreast into turn 10. Delirious throws it around the outside. Sensational is dealing with a lot of oversteer on exit since Delirious very impatient with this traffic, forcing his way to the inside of MRC Kirk. As now Rager also looking to the inside of Kirk as well. As the traffic back in the midfield is just looking like New Jersey during rush hour. Some incredible racing here as Double OT's looking around Brackish. Looks like Sensational lost it coming around the last turn. Now Brackish looking to the inside of Double OT going towards turn 1. Formula Rager makes a move on Kirk around the outside as Kirk has left the session. Not sure if he's dealing with a bit of lag or what happened there. As P8 to 14, just a second separating these drivers. Looks like Brackish and Double OT, I'm sorry, Sosa and Double OT now trading blows, approaching Seat curve, now approaching Worth. Sosa takes a look to the inside, backs out though, allows Double OT through. B-Dunk continues to lead Borat. Formula Rager working on Delirious for P7. As Sosa finds a way around Double OT. Double OT got a little out of shape, it looked like. As Borat puts in a new fastest lap of the race with 1:22 flat. Looks like Borat is working on B-Dunk going into T1. If he was able to hold that position, he would have had the inside line for turn 3. Unfortunately, B-Dunk, as Kirk is back in the lobby, unfortunately looks like Kirk's having some connectivity issues tonight. B-Dunk continues to lead Borat around turn 4 now. Nose of Capita Hood and Cheesy Train continuing to try to chase these two down. B-Dunk, a lot of mid-turn oversteer there, might have locked up the brakes a bit. Borat rather now nipping at the heels of B-Dunk. There we can see Capita Hood just in the edge of the shot. Hopefully those two Renault teammates can tow each other forwards to try to bring the battle to the race leaders here. As a little bit of time has started to separate our midfield battle, we'll keep our eyes up front for the moment as we are about to start our 5th lap in Catalunya. Barcelona, rather. The circuit to Catalunya. As Borat now engages DRS, B-Dunk looks to the inside of the line to take away the draft. Capita Hood also has DRS, gonna have quite a tow from Borat. As B-Dunk continues to almost pull away through Sector 1 from Borat just a little bit. Take a quick look at Formula Rager, looking at the outside of Delirious. Very tough line, but he takes the position away before turn 2 and has the ideal line going into the 4-second long turn 3. Great job by Rager there to take P7 as Kirk moves back up into P15. Sensational been having a little bit of trouble. Not sure if he picked up some damage from that spin on the last lap, or what that was. We'll work our way through the field, see if any battles are shaping up. Shadow Wolf still trying to chase down Double OT. Double OT within DRS range of Fun Rafa Sosa there, braking for turn 12. Delirious trying to catch the Red Bull of Formula Rager for P7. Reimer putting a little bit of pressure on his teammate, Saxman24. As Borat is still just outside of striking distance of B-Dunk. Reimer gains a lot of ground on his teammate there. Saxman was braking very early for T1. Delirious having a little bit of a battle with Formula Rager, just trying to put the pressure on little by little each lap. Unfortunately runs a little bit wide on exit coming out of 3. Take a look at Borat now working our way around turn 9. Onto the back straight, engages DRS, trying to catch up to B-Dunk. Little peek at the inside, heavy on the brakes there. Down to 2nd gear, now approaching turn 11 and 12. Now working our way on to our 7th lap as Borat is just outside of DRS engagement there. Capita Hood does have it though. I'm sorry, Borat did get DRS there. Both those drivers just about a second off each other's pace. Looked like Borat was having a little bit of transitional oversteer there going through 2 and 3. As Delirious looking to the outside of Formula Rager going towards turn 1. With the assistance of DRS, Delirious was able to complete the pass without too much defending from Rager, as Sosa and Double OT now battling for P10. Double OT works his way around the inside going through turn 2, as Sosa is relegated to 11th place just outside of the points. Now he will have to defend against Shadow Wolf 14. Look at the inside going towards 4. As Sosa continues to hold that position for now, we also have Bloody Ramrod up to P13 from his last place start at the race start. As Reimer and Saxman continue to tow each other around the track, trying to catch up to the Renaults of Capitol Hood and Cheesy Train. Sosa continuing to defend against the persistent Shadow Wolf 14. Working our way towards 11 now as we see Riced Out's running a little bit wide, going out of 10. As Reimer passes his teammate Saxman for P5 going in through Elf. Now we're on to Renault as DRR Reimer is already half a second in front of Saxman. Sosa also passes Double OT going into turn 1. Around the outside, completes the pass before turn 2. As Bloody Ramrod passes Shadow Wolf again in the same spot. Countless overtakes already, and we're still under 10 laps into this 33-lap race. Gonna be quite an action-packed Spanish Grand Prix. See a little bit of a lockup from Shadow Wolf there. As Sosa is now defending against Double OT. Take a quick peek back at our race leaders. Oh, oh no, it looks like Bloody Ramrod got a little wide on exit coming over turn 9. Had to deal with a lot of oversteer from those curbs, lost control, and sheared the front left corner off of his Williams, and he is out of the race. That's a shame for Bloody Ramrod, as he was on an absolute charge. As heartbreak has once again found the Williams garage in F1. No surprise there. We'll go back up to our race leaders now. As promised, MRC Borat just 0.2 off the pace of B-Dunk. Looks like Formula Rager is battling with Delirious approaching turn 10. As Delirious already up 7 spots on an absolute charge so far. On hard tires too. Brackish also up 6 spots. None of our drivers have taken a scheduled pit stop thus far. So we work our way onto our 10th lap now. It looks like Borat is making a move on B-Dunk possibly. Nope, just still 0.2 off his pace. As we see Capitol Hood closing the distance now to Borat for P2. As these three approach the Worth curve, MRC Borat takes a peek at the inside of B-Dunk. As Borat picks up a 3-second time penalty for being a little bit out of shape there and going a little bit wide. As both Borat and Capitol Hood engage DRS approaching turn 10. Right on board with the very out of shape Borat there. Not sure if his tires are starting to lose a little bit of life now, but Capitol Hood now just 0.3 off of his pace. Working our way through the 3rd sector as Bloody Ramrod has unfortunately left the session due to his loss of the whole front half of his car. Capitol Hood with a pretty terrible exit there. Allows Borat to gain a little bit of distance, but unfortunately still not very close to B-Dunk. Sector 3 yellow as looked like Shadow Wolf lost it and then retired in rage, unfortunately. Shadow Wolf's having a tough qualifying session and it's looking like he's had an even tougher race. Sad to see for McLaren, but back on board with MRC Borat. Working our way around turn 9 now, approaching DRS zone 2. Excellent braking technique by Borat there, got right up to the rear diffuser of B-Dunk. Give a sector 2 yellow. Looks like Saxman 24 unfortunately lost it in the same place that Bloody Ramrod was forced to retire. But in this case, Saxman was at least able to keep it out of the wall, get back on track without an incident. But unfortunately, now we'll have Delirious just in his rearview mirrors. As Capita Hood looking a little bit closer to Borat this lap. Working our way towards the end of Sector 1 there under the Pirelli board, diving towards the inside of the very long and uphill sector, turn 4 rather. Then downhill back through the Seat curve. Under the Rolex bridge, now approaching Worth Bend as Borat's really putting the pressure on B-Dunk now. See if he has anything to say after DRS Zone 2 approaching turn 10. Borat right in the draft of B-Dunk, but follows suit through towards turn 11 now. Under second, separating our top 3 competitors here in NAXBL T1. Presented as always by your friends at MRC. It looks like B-Dunk dives for the pits. All 3. That's all I'll say about that. As Reimer and Cheesy Train work their way on to the front grid for lap 13. B-Dunk goes for hards, Borat goes for hards, and Capita Hood also exits the pits on hards. As Saxman 24 is going to be in a little bit of traffic here as my right bumper's not working. There we go. No problems there as everybody exits the pit without issue. Cheesy Train is your new leader, followed by DOR Reimer. As Sensational is also using this opportunity to pit. Looks like Reimer's putting a little bit of pressure on Cheesy Train. Gonna have the assistance of DRS now, working our way towards Sector 3. Both these drivers heavy on the brakes. Cheesy Train taking the optimal line through there, hitting his marks nicely. A little bit of a late apex through there, but that is the fastest line. A very tricky Sector 3 here in Barcelona. As Capita Hood passes Saxman 24 going through turn 10, I think that was. Cheesy Train pulls into the pits for some fresh tires. Whoa, Delirious looked like got very out of shape there. As looks like Borat is having a run at B-Dunk now, going towards turn 1, looks to the outside, B-Dunk gives him room. Huge speed differential there, B-Dunk still on the inside, but Borat completes the pass before turn 2 again. Very key before turn 3 to get the optimal line as Borat pulls away. B-Dunk will now have Capita Hood to worry about in his mirror. We'll see if he can do anything to gain that time back against B-Dunk as Formula Rager pulls into the pits. And after that first pit interval, it seems like... pit stop, rather. Seems like a bit of time is starting to separate our competitors here in Spain. Still see about a little more than half the field still yet to stop, as Borat puts in a new fastest lap of the race with 121.5 on hard tires. Expect to see those times go down as we go through the day, as Sosa pulls into the pits now. Tires. As most of our drivers try, looks like going for a one-stop strategy. We also have MRC Kirk pulling into the pits for some fresh tires as well. Looks like Delirious is having a bit of a battle with Saxman24 for P5. Saxman with a big lockup going through Sia allows Delirious to work his way to the inside, approaching Worth Bend. Saxman is still just to the outside, but Delirious has the line on corner entry. We'll see if he's able to hold the position, as Saxman will have the assistance of DRS now, working our way towards Sector 3 now. Saxman can't make anything happen yet. Looks like his tires are absolutely toasted, as anytime he touches the accelerator, the back end is kicking out. Tokyo drifting his way around to a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. We have a yellow in Sector 2. Possibly Sensational. I don't think we quite caught it, as we'll go on board with Formula Rager. Putting a bit of pressure on the Mercedes of Muffin Man, who is pulling into the pits there. Who's joined by Saxman24, also getting some fresh tires. That'll allow Formula Rager to move up into P11, as we see Saxman exiting just ahead of him there. As Kirk moves up into P13. Fortunately, Kirk dealing with a lot of networking difficulties earlier in the race, I believe, as Muffin Man exits the pits just behind MRC Sensational. Both these drivers starting their 16th lap, just about halfway through this Grand Prix. As we see DRR Reimer leading us towards the Elf turn one more time here. Dips it in very nicely there. Nice bit of throttle management as well through 3. Under the Pirelli board completes Sector 1. As Reimer again skillfully pilots his Toro Rosso around turn 4. We have the Red Bull of Riced Outs entering the pits. Take a look at what kind of tires he's going to be coming out on. They look to be hards, as we see the Toro Racing point of Fun Rafa Sosa go by there. Riced Out will be exiting the pits just in front of MRC Kirk. And Muffin Man passes Sensational, approaching turn 1. The assistance of DRS. Sensational been having a really tough race so far today. As we see MRC Kirk trying to work on the Toro Red Bull of Riced Outs on cold tires. As Capital Hood picks up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits. Cheesy Train applying a little bit of pressure to ARL Brackish for P6. We'll keep our eye on that battle. for now stay with Kirk, who is absolutely slaughtering those sausages, as B-Dunk picks up a 3-second time penalty as well for exceeding the track limits. Kirk now with the assistance of DRS closing on the rear of Rice-Douts. Rice-Douts looking to the inside to defend, although it looks like with the speed differential there, MRC Kirk was able to complete the pass without much to say from Rice-Douts. As DOR Reimer finally pulling into the pits, Borat will be your new race leader. Cheesy Train now trying to find his way around ARL Brackish for P6. Engages DRS. Little peek to the inside. Brackish does nothing to defend. We see the Toro Rosso of DOR Reimer exiting there as Cheesy Train completes the pass before T1. Very well executed now as we work our way through turn 3. Reimer joins the party as OOT enters the pits. Brackish falls victim again to Reimer. As Borat has pulled out a 5-second lead over second place B-Dunk. Reimer now putting the pressure on the Renault of MRC Cheesy Train, looking to the inside, going towards turn 9 now. Engages DRS, has the outside line approaching 10. Let's see if he can get this done here, as we have terrible camera angles there. We'll stay on board as Cheesy Train holds the inside line through 11. Does well to keep Reimer out of P5, but unfortunately goes a little bit too deep into 12. Does well to regain control before 13 and 14 here. Oh, it's Reimer with a little bit of a dive bomb there. Makes a bit of contact with Cheesy Train. Cheesy Train dives to the inside to take away the draft. Reimer goes to the outside. And completes the pass on Cheesy Train for P5. Some great battling between these two drivers. Just on the 20th lap now, still 13 to go as Reimer overdoes it coming out of 4. Cheesy Train does not get on the brakes or lift at all. Runs right into the back of him. As Sensational picks up a 3-second time penalty for running wide. Cheesy Train is now going to be defending against Brackish. He has no front end grip in that Renault this lap, as we see him running wide there on exit through 9. Brackish should be able to close on Cheesy Train through the very downforce reliant turn 12 right here. But Brackish kind of staying out of the fight. I think he knows that Cheesy Train doesn't have a front wing, and he's just going to let him pull into the pits and work his way around by default without... Actually, as we see Brackish pulling into the pits there, that's what's going on. As Cheesy Train, like an absolute mad lad, says, I don't need no front wing for Formula 1, and stays out. He's still got most of it, but he's got no end plates. So, in terms of overall grip, he's at a severe disadvantage compared to the rest of the field. As Saxman passes ARL Brackish. Take a look where he comes out of the pits, as Formula Rager goes by without incident as well. And OOT's over 20 seconds behind, so there won't be any issue there, as Reimer has worked his way to the back of Delirious, going through the Worth bends now, approaching turn 9 and DRS zone 2. Borat continuing to extend his lead over B-Dunk for P2, as Reimer's now just right on the rear wing of Delirious. Take a look at overall pit stops for the day, as, yeah, Delirious is the only driver still yet to pit. We'll see if he stays out this lap, but he dives towards the garage to go have some tea with Jeff and come back out on some fresh Pirellis. As Reimer will take P4 from him, working his way onto the 22nd lap. Lost my interval, there we go. As you see Reimer pick up another 3-second time penalty there for running a bit wide through 2. Saxman passes the pitting Cheesy Train as well as Delirious, exiting the pits right behind Saxman. Cheesy Train exiting the pits just in front of Double OT. Cheesy Train defends the inside line. Double OT for now just follows suit. Keep in mind Cheesy Train, I didn't catch if he just so he's probably presumably repairing that front wing damage, but I didn't catch if he got new tires or not. And he did, he got some fresh mediums. As Delirious working on the back of the Toro Rosso of Saxman 24 for P5. Delirious fresh out of the pits with mediums compared to Saxman's hards. As we work our way down the front straightaway, Delirious engages DRS 0.3 off the pace of Saxman now as we have a yellow in Sector 3. Unfortunately, we got to stay with Delirious, see if he can complete the pass, but it looks like he cannot for now. It looks like Rice Outs has lost it completely going into turn 14. Unfortunately, he's going to be in last place now. Sensational works his way by, now applying the pressure onto the 13th place Mercedes of Muffin Man. Rice Outs receives a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Sensational looking to the inside of Muffin Man. Going into turn 1, little bit of a lockup. There's still wheel to wheel as Muffin Man maintains the position. Gotta go to Delirious now. Apologies for flipping through. As he engages DRS, trying to catch up to the rear end of Saxman 24. There was a little bit of a feint, now right on the left rear tire of that Toro Rosso, but unfortunately cannot get the McLaren around. As we see Rice Outs entering the pits, presumably to repair some damage sustained last lap. As we work our way out of 16 there, Delirious engages DRS. Tries to stay within draft of Saxman. Closing, looks to the outside. Later on the brakes as Cheesy Train has the fastest lap of the race with a 120.5. Toro Rosso and McLaren are wheel to wheel as Saxman maintains the inside line going through 3. Delirious still trying to look to the outside. Wow, brilliant racing between these two going through turn 4. So there's still wheel to wheel, little bit of a touch approaching the braking zone of turn 5. Seat curve as it's known, as Delirious makes his way around Saxman 24 for P5. Brilliant bit of overtaking by the McLaren of Delirious there. As Saxman really made him work for that position. Saxman now driving with a bit of frustration, sends it a little bit deep into 10 rather. And unfortunately might be out of DRS deployment range coming onto this next lap. If Delirious can hold his pace coming out of turn 16 here, which it looks like he does, Saxman will not have that assistance this lap. So Delirious should continue to pull away. We'll go on board with MRC Capita Hood under his second behind B-Dunk. Engages DRS on the back straight, the only other DRS zone. Under 10 laps to go here at the Circuit de Catalunya. Cap completely ignores the sausages of turn 15. He continues to close upon the Williams of B-Dunk. Positions his Renault perfectly for corner entry of Elf. As we work our way through Renault now in a Renault. And we have a Sector 3 yellow as Formula Ragers lost it coming out of turn 13? Where are we? Yeah, working our way through 14 now. Not sure what happened there. He might have been pressing double OT for position. I'm not certain. I don't think so. As we'll go back up to the Renault of Capita Hood. Still under a second off the pace of the Williams driver B Duncan P2. Both these drivers working up towards the race leader, MRC Borat. Just about 3 seconds off of his pace now. You could just see him working his way under the start-finish line up there. As Capita Hood's really closing towards B-Dunk now, just under half a second behind. Working our way towards turn 3, through turns. Oh man, absolutely tongue-tied tonight. As we're now going through turn 4. Both drivers doing well to handle no ABS assistance as Borat picks up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits going through the Worth Bend, I believe. Cody's, please. There we go. We've already seen a couple good battles this season between B-Dunk and Capita Hood. I think this Grand Prix is going to be another one of those moments, as we just have a little over 5 laps to go here for the end of this Spanish Grand Prix. Capita Hood still maintaining that half-second deficit from B-Dunk overall, on average. As we have a yellow in Sector 2. Looks like Muffin Man and Sensational have gotten together in a big way as they let the race leaders by and pull back out onto track. I'm sure our stewards are going to hear something about that after the race. Muffin Man trying to find his way back. There he goes now, rejoining the track without incident, thankfully, as both those drivers just lost an absolutely massive amount of time. Guess one tried to pass the other, and they both got washed out wide, unfortunately. As Capita Hood's now just over a quarter second off of B-Dunk's pace. But looks like B-Dunk got a very good exit coming out of 16. Capita Hood looks to the inside of B-Dunk going through Elf. B-Dunk, though, maintaining position, carrying that momentum through, as Muffin Man picks up a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. Capita Hood continues to try to work on B-Dunk. We have a yellow in Sector 3 as Muffin Man retires, as Sensational's drifting. And not really sure what's going on at the back of the field here, as we now have double caution in 2 different sectors. The stewards are freaking out. The marshals are going wild. And Capital Hood still cannot catch B-Dunk, as Sensationalist retired from this session as well as Muffin Man. As the Circuit de Catalunya claims another 2 victims. Capital Hood is going to try to make another move happen, I'm sure, as we work our way onto the 30th lap. B-Dunk looks to the inside of the track. Capital Hood engages DRS. And Muffin Man has left the session to go start baking some muffins. Consolation muffins. As Capital Hood still half-second off B-Dunk's pace for P3. Both these drivers now battling, falling off the dominant MRC Borat's pace. It's 4.5 seconds between him and B-Dunk as he continues to pull away from these two. Fortunately, it doesn't look like DOR Reimer will be able to catch these guys either during the last few laps. But there's still quite a few battles shaping up in our midfield that I'm keeping my eye on as well. As Capital Hood has DRS assistance once again approaching turn 10. Smartest to always just apply an uncomfortable amount of pressure during the last few laps to whoever you're trying to pass, and then as the last lap happens, that's where you put all the moves on. Throw some barbecue sauce, honey mustard sauce. Here's a little bit of sauce right now as MRC Capital Hood's looking to the inside, completes the pass with the help of DRS before turn 1 breaking point even begins. As Capital Hood is now P2 for the last 2 laps of the Spanish Grand Prix here in Barcelona, Spain. B-Dunk's going to be trying to do anything he can to get back at the Renault, as we'll take a look at what tires these drivers are on, because I don't remember. They're both on hards, equally as old. So it's going to be a perfectly matched battle through to the end of the race here. As Delirious is up 9 spots, Brackish is up 8 spots. Both those drivers having a great race today. B-Dunk takes a little peek to the inside going towards turn 10. As we see those carbon ceramic brakes absolutely cooking in the front. Now we'll see what B-Dunk can do with the help of DRS this lap as we go on to the second to last lap now, as Capital Hood works his way to the inside, trying to break the draft. B-Dunk follows through. Capital Hood, having used his 1 defensive move, stays to the inside line. A little bit of a touch through one there. Cheesy Train picks up a 3-second time penalty for cutting corners. B-Dunk gains P2 back from Cap. Looks like Formula Rager is working on the back of MRC WOT or P9. See if he can make anything happen with the assistance of DRS as they work their way onto the 32nd lap. Unfortunately, I think Rager's just a little bit too far back to make anything happen yet. Gonna have to take a jump back up to the front with Capital Hood as Rager follows WOT's pace through 3. Cheesy Train's now applying the pressure to ARL. Brackish going through Seat now. Now under the Rolex pedestrian bridge. B-Dunk continues to hold P2 from Capital Hood as they work their way onto the last lap under white flag conditions here at the Circuit de Catalunya, but we're going to stay on board with Cheesy Train now, really putting the pressure on Brackish. Let's see if he can make anything happen. Looking to the inside. Brackish gives him room. Can't make anything happen yet. We're going to take a look back on board with Capita Hood. They're working their way around turn 4 right now, approaching Seat. B-Dunk still driving a very nice line as we work our way through Sector 2. Now through turns 7 and 8. As Cheesy Train passes Brackish coming out of 16. Unfortunately, I missed that. We'll see if Cheesy Train can maintain the position as they work their way onto their last lap. Cheesy Train's going to hold that on entry. We'll see if Capita Hood has anything to do in the last 4 corners here in Spain. Working our way through 14 and 15 now. Capita Hood right on the rear wing as your race winner is MRC Borat, puts in the fastest lap of the race with an additional point, 120.5. As B-Dunk comes P2, followed by MRC Capita Hood P3. Great battle from those two drivers there. Little love tap there as Kirk puts in your new fastest lap of the race with a 120.3. As we have a Sector 2 yellow for, who was that? Looks like the Alfa Romeo of MRC TOT. Oh man, has lost another place on the last lap of the Spanish Grand Prix. Heartbreak for him, as I believe MRC Kirk quickly stole the fastest lap point, as Rice Stouts gets a 5-second time penalty for an on-serve stop and go. There are no more battles to speak of. As Cheesy Train crosses the line in P7. Unfortunately, due to penalties, falls back to P8, and Brackish maintains that P7 finish. Now just waiting for Rager Sosa OOT. Rager crosses there. Not too many penalties from them either, as their finishing positions stay the same as OOT finally crosses the line as well. And there you have it. Oh man, the end of the Spanish Grand Prix presented by MRC. Please stand by while I set up the post-race interviews here. As MRC Borat lifts the trophy, joined on the podium by B-Dunk and Capita Hood. And we'll get the interview room ready here, as I just need to remind myself of the... Oh wow, got some great XP for spectating there. As we get a look at our total finishing board for the day, I'm joined now by your race winner, MRC Borat. Borat, great job, man. Some great battles early on in the first half of the race, and then a dominant drive in the second half of the race. Let me get your thoughts on it overall.
Yeah, honestly, it was a little sketchy, though, because I got a couple of time penalties that I would say that I don't necessarily agree with, but, you know, that knocked down the gap. I only beat him by a second just because of that. So that was scary. I had to drive my tail off. That's the only reason why I got the fastest lap of the race in the last lap, is because I was running to make sure that I actually won the race. I wasn't even trying to gun for the fastest lap.
Yeah, Kirk actually stole it from you right as the race ended. He stopped for some soft tires, and he got the fastest lap point just at the end. So a pretty cheeky play by Kirk, but it paid off for him in the end. And yeah, great drive, Borat. And we're now joined by Capita Hood. Cap, what's going on, man? Some awesome and entertaining driving there at the end of the race with some great battles between you and B-Dunk. Let me get your thoughts on the race.
I'm sitting in a pool of sweat right now. That's all I can say. But man, yeah, that was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed trying to chase B-Dunk. It seemed like he was pulling away, and all of a sudden those hard tires this year, like,
they look like they last, huh?
Yeah, they kind of like kick in on like lap 10, and like I started going green every single lap, and Yeah, I think B-Dunk should be in here by now. But yeah, that was fun. I tried to do the undercut, and then B-Dunk also wanted to do the undercut. Then Borat decided, Lewis Hamilton style, that he wanted to do the undercut as well.
That was brilliant, and it was a
that was
brilliant
amazing.
moment on stream too. So I hope you guys enjoy that.
Yeah, we did. I was sad. I missed my gear shift to get out of the pit, so I got stuck behind Saxman. So that was annoying, but
Okay. And
yeah, other than that, it was a fun race.
yeah, man, great drive. We're joined now by your P2 finisher, B-Dunk. B-Dunk, awesome defending at the end there, man. Great job trading places with Cap. Let me get your thoughts on the race.
He's muted, I think. Yeah, his mic's not.
Is that me? That's not me.
Nah,
Let me see
his
if I can
mic's on
unmute
mute.
him somehow.
Hmm.
It's on his end. There's a
Yeah.
microphone on the bottom of your phone. If you do it on your phone, B-Dunk.
Well, B-Dunk is the man, but you
Let me
guys
get him.
already knew that.
Admin power real quick so we can talk. I
Oh, it's
can't.
push to talk?
Let's see.
Hmm.
Let's go over to driver's lounge, perhaps, or ready for interview.
Yeah, we could do that. All right, B-Dunk. Now we got you. Let me get your
I think
thoughts
it's
on the
okay.
race, man. Yeah, we got you. So it was some great battling with you and Cap at the end there, man.
Dude, I had no pace in those first two sectors. I just did not feel comfortable at all. But the only thing that was keeping me in front that first stint was my exits in the penultimate corner. Because I had two DRS failures that race. I had one from like lap 3 onwards, so I knew I had to do everything I could to keep like Borat and Cap the hood behind. And I knew I was struggling with my tires, so I decided, hit early and try to cover off any kind of an undercut attempt from them. But all three of us decided to chug along into the pit, the podium choo-choo train. And then I just could not get the tires warmed up, and Borat got past me, and he pretty much just signed off for this race. And then Capita, I got another DRS failure, I want to say around lap 3. And then from there, I just had to do everything I could to keep Capita hood behind. I made a mistake, he got past me, but I did
But yeah,
a nice
you did well to
little
recover
pass
there.
on the outside.
Yep.
Yeah, I should have clipped that on my Xbox, but I forgot to, so I'll have to grab it off stream.
No, and this
Yeah,
does
that was a good race. I'll take P2 at the end. I did everything I could to hold on to as many points as I could, but yeah.
yeah, we've got the Drivers' Championship points up right now on stream, and this really shakes things up. And it's going to be very interesting going into next race, which is the
Monaco Grand Prix.
Monaco Grand Prix. Wow.
Very spicy.
And judging by just randomness, it's probably going to rain because Tier 1 has not had rain this season yet, so get ready for that.
The odds are in our favor, dude.
I am not looking forward for Monaco.
All right, guys. On behalf of all of us at MRC, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you all next week. Take care.